Every once in a while, something small happens that feels insignificant on the surface. But when you zoom out, it starts to look like the beginning of something much bigger. That's exactly what happened when Northwest casually showed off a finger piercing. No dramatic announcement, no long explanation. Just a quiet visual that immediately sent the internet into a spiral. Some people saw it as playful. Some saw it as harmless self-expression. Others saw a 12-year-old growing up too fast. But what most people didn't realize is that this wasn't just about a piercing. It was a signal, a glimpse into a much larger story unfolding behind the scenes, involving identity, control, creativity, and two parents who don't always see eye to eye on how their daughter should step into the world. Because North isn't posting like a typical kid. Her visuals don't look accidental. Her captions aren't chatty or random. Her aesthetic feels intentional. When she shared images of nails with piercings built into them, paired with audio referencing "piercing on my hand," it didn't feel like a kid messing around. It felt closer to a soft rollout, the kind artists use when they're testing a vibe before something bigger drops. And that's where things start to feel different. North's posts don't scream, "Look at me." They whisper mood. They lean into atmosphere. They feel curated without feeling overproduced. It's subtle, but subtle is powerful. People immediately started connecting dots. The piercing, the lyrics, the confidence, the way she talks about style, independence, and doing her own thing. Suddenly, the conversation shifted from North experimenting to North positioning. And that shift matters because when a child of two global icons starts showing signs of creative direction, it stops being just about fashion. It becomes about trajectory. Behind the scenes, there are reportedly two very different philosophies shaping that trajectory. On one side, you have Kim Kardashian. Kim understands fame in a way very few people ever will. She's watched what early exposure can do. She's lived through brutal headlines, invasive commentary, and the long-term consequences of growing up in front of millions of strangers. According to people close to the family, Kim wants North to slow down, not because she wants to suppress her creativity, but because she wants to protect her childhood. Kim is said to believe in pacing, in structure, in age-appropriate steps. She's reportedly become stricter about screen time, posting frequency, and how much of North's daily life is visible online. Not because North isn't capable, but because the internet isn't gentle. On the other side, you have Kanye West. Kanye has always been vocal about artistic freedom. He sees creativity as something that shouldn't be boxed in by age, industry rules, or public expectations. People close to him say he fully supports North exploring music, fashion, and self-expression, as long as it happens in an environment that feels authentic and protected. Kanye isn't pushing North to become famous. He's encouraging her to become an artist. That difference may sound subtle, but it's massive. Kim thinks in terms of long-term safety and reputation. Kanye thinks in terms of creative evolution, and North exists right in the middle of those two worlds. A lot of fans have noticed that North appears especially close to Kanye. There's a reason for that. North lived through a very different era of Kanye than her younger siblings did. She experienced a version of him that was publicly focused on family, reflection, and personal growth. She spent time around studios, creative sessions, and artistic spaces at an early age. That environment leaves an imprint. People who've seen North interact with Kanye say she lights up in creative settings. She asks questions. She watches closely. She absorbs. It's less about chasing attention and more about being curious, which makes the current moment even more complicated. Because curiosity becomes dangerous when millions of people are watching. That danger became impossible to ignore when North's Instagram account quietly appeared. The page wasn't flashy, no big launch, no press announcement. Just a simple profile, minimal captions, visual-heavy posts, and a bio stating the page was managed by parents. Within hours, the account exploded, hundreds of thousands of followers, then millions. Every post was being analyzed, every outfit dissected, every caption turned into a headline. People weren't just observing North, they were projecting onto her, and almost as quickly as the account appeared, It vanished. No explanation, no statement, just gone. That disappearance spoke louder than any caption ever could. According to insiders, Kim stepped in after seeing how fast things were spiraling. The volume of comments, the tone of some reactions, the way strangers felt comfortable debating a 12-year-old's body, maturity, and future. It reportedly felt different than normal Kardashian backlash. Because this time, it wasn't aimed at an adult who chose public life. It was aimed at a child. People close to Kim say that moment hit a nerve. Not because North was doing anything wrong, but because the internet doesn't know how to be gentle, even with kids. At the same time, Kanye is said to share concerns about social media exposure. Not because he opposes North being creative, but because he doesn't believe creativity should be filtered through comment sections and algorithms. He reportedly prefers North's music and artistic experiments to happen in controlled, offline environments first. Studios, private sessions, learning spaces, less noise, more craft. What a lot of people miss is that the Kardashian family has a pattern. They test, they observe, they pull back, they reintroduce. It's a cycle they've used for years. We saw it with Kylie. We saw it with Kendall. We've seen it with multiple brand launches and public personas. North's brief Instagram presence fits that same playbook. Not a cancellation, not a punishment, a pause, a temperature check. And lately the signals suggest North hasn't stopped creating at all. People close to the family say she's been spending more time in studio environments, mostly observing, listening, watching how professionals move, learning how lyrics come together, how beats are structured, how ideas turn into finished songs. There are rumors she's already working on more music. Nothing finalized, nothing announced, but enough quiet movement to suggest this isn't a one-off experiment. Music insiders who've heard small snippets describe her sense of rhythm as natural. Some say she has Kanye's ear for sound paired with Kim's instinct for presentation. That combination is rare and powerful, which brings up the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask out loud. Is this the beginning of North West's career, or is this simply a creative phase that the internet is turning into a storyline? The truth is probably somewhere in between. North didn't wake up one day and decide to become famous. She was born into fame. She didn't ask to be analyzed. She didn't ask to be trend-setting. She didn't ask to become a cultural conversation at 12 years old. Yet here she is. Every appearance sparks headlines. Every outfit becomes a mood board. Every lyric becomes a debate. Even when she's silent, she's still loud in the culture. People who've met North describe her as confident, witty, and surprisingly grounded. She's known for quick one-liners, a playful sense of humor, a comfort around cameras that feels natural rather than forced. Some see that as impressive. Others see it as concerning. Both can be true. Because confidence in a child can coexist with vulnerability. Behind the scenes, sources say Kim is trying to keep things as normal as possible. School routines, study hours, limited phone use. Rules that don't look glamorous but matter more than red carpets ever will. Kanye, meanwhile, is said to be leaning into a mentor role. Teaching North about process, about respecting art, about separating creation from validation. Two very different approaches. One shared goal, protect the kid, encourage the gift. And that's why the finger-piercing moment feels bigger than it looks. It's not about jewelry, it's not about nails, and it's not even really about a song. It's about a child beginning to realize she has a voice, while the world decides what it wants that voice to be. Some people want a prodigy, some want a rebel. Some want a mini version of her parents. But North is quietly showing something else. She wants to be herself. And maybe the most radical thing Kim and Kanye can do right now isn't launching her. It's slowing everything down, letting her experiment in private, letting her be wrong, letting her change her mind, letting her grow without every phase becoming permanent internet history. Because childhood only happens once. Fame doesn't wait, and North West is standing at the intersection of both. So the real question isn't whether she should have a piercing, or drop a song, or start a brand. The real question is, how do you protect a child who was born into a spotlight that never turns off? And maybe that's the story we should be paying attention to.